So, hello and welcome. Here we have Himaanshi, who has scored AIR7 in CA final in the November 2024 attempt. First of all, a huge congratulations to you, Himaanshi, for this amazing feat that you have achieved. Right, and to my knowledge, she's the highest scorer in Bangalore as well. So, just as a matter of extra information, I've shared that as well to our viewers. Now, how's the feeling, Himaanshi?
It's honestly great. I feel really elated. I feel very happy that all the efforts that everyone had put into it, not only me, everyone who put into it has finally culminated into something so satisfying and so beautiful.
So one question that someone who knows Himaanshi would be able to relate to: did you cry?
I did a little bit when the results came out, but I think now it's mostly been happy faces for everyone.
Okay, wonderful. No, because she is one who is very meticulous at what she does, and that's why. And if it doesn't go as per her plan, she ends up crying. So that's why the question. Now, for the people who are unversed about what her achievements are in the past, I can tell you that somewhere in Jan 2021, which is the COVID attempt, I think so. That's why the opt-out attempt. She had scored 359, if I recollect, and that is a very high score. And to my knowledge, it was the highest in the country in that attempt. But she was not awarded any sort of rank because the rank system was discontinued in foundation due to the COVID thing, right? So yes, that urge for getting a rank didn't happen then, despite having the highest score. Technically, virtually, she was maybe top one or two in the country. Then came the intermediate part of the tail. She did phenomenally well, but she didn't got a rank, and the score was
62.
562. That was a phenomenal score, but she couldn't manage a rank at that point in time. And finally, in final, she got that very deserving All India 7th rank. So it is a phenomenal thing. Take us through your journey, how it went.
Okay, so if I have to, you rightly summed it up really well that I really had a desire to have the tag of a ranker. So that was a very big self-motivator for me. In terms of external motivation also, I had various people. My parents were there, and then you were there, and my siblings were there. So that was, those are the sources of motivation that I had. In terms of my preparation, if I have to touch upon in very brief, I would just like to say three things. First one is consistency is key. I started preparing for final exams by the end of the first year of my articleship and was consistent with my preparation. Even though I couldn't give a given number of hours every single day, I made sure that every day I was doing something so that in the bigger picture it got contributed. The second one was, as you said, no subject is your favorite, because what happens is if you do have a favorite subject, you end up doing too much of it or nothing of it at all.
Exactly.
And the third one, and that is the most crucial one, paper practice. I had practiced for all the subject for the five main subjects that we had. I had practiced papers almost from November 2019, which was MTPs and RTPs, and the
that
paper.
Roughly be 12 to 15 papers, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, comfortably those many papers.
Easily.
Yeah. So those were this thing, and I used to, like, when I talk about paper practice, I meant sitting from 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 for the last subject.
Yes, the guideline, right?
Yeah.
So that is very important paper practice, I think so. Probably it is the most underrated exercise. People think that we'll study it, we'll go in the exam hall and we'll perform. See, I have a very simple mechanism which I had told Himaanshi back in May, June, and I would like to share a couple of incidents with respect to that. So, but first, I told her that last 6 months is all about paper practice, written paper practice. A lot of people, I'll love to share with our audience as well as with you. There are a couple of students who would say, I say, you have to do paper practice. Yes, sir, I'm doing it. I said, then you show it to me. No, sir, I've not written it. I go through the paper. Right. So there cannot be a stuff more laughable than this. When you're talking about paper practice has to be written. You have to meticulously do as if you're doing for your final exam. So paper practice is something which I can keep on talking and dragging about for hours together, and I can lecture you out hours together for how important it is. Because once you do paper practice, you go into that zone. The exam is just another paper for you, right? So it takes out the lot of discomfort, the anxiety out of you, gets you prepared for that. So that is one part of the tale. Now coming up to so we know she's prepared really well, and that is why the rank. But I have known her up close and personal, but I don't think so. Our audience has much of a clue. So I want to ensure that Himaanshi opens up on certain matters as to how she has prepared some subject, something as auditing where people struggle. So what is your score in auditing and how you went about it?
So auditing, I got 86, which was
Right. So a lot of people would say that you can have two people pass with that kind of a score, 43 each.
yeah. So auditing, it being a theory subject, people get really bored of it. So what again in audit also, even though it was a theory subject, and I'll be honest, I also had a little bit of inhibition initially with trying to writing theory is a whole other thing. So for that, paper practice was definitely there. Constant revision with audit is what helped me. I used to like audit was one subject which I was doing on an everyday basis. Like it wasn't like a subject that I do for a week and then take a break from it. No, auditing was one subject. Since it was a theory subject, I had to do it on an everyday basis. Just a couple of hours, maybe. It can just be what I revised yesterday or learn something new. And it being a theory subject, I used to like almost I could say steal time. For example, something as simple as when I'm traveling to the client place, which is 1 hour away, I would sit with my audit book and just read, like just try to learn most of the new amendments that came in. I actually learned it while traveling itself. So it being a theory subject, I kind of took the advantage of wherever I could, I'll just put stuff in my brain and try to revise it. Of course, paper practice remains something very important. I think for me also attending classes sincerely with audit, making notes, having mnemonics in place was important. Giving focus to the right thing, like the number of the standard on auditing, the number of that, the exact name, all of that. So the technicalities which were there, that I took care of in audit, presented my paper in a very professional way. Thanks to writing and practicing, I was able to complete the entire audit paper. Like I was able to also answer the extra question and had sufficient time to check the paper, underline the important key points. Talking about audit itself, my audit teacher who I had taken class from had actually mentioned the importance of writing and practicing theory subjects. So she had mentioned, and I remember this very clearly. So she told that if you don't write and practice, the institute is going to make sure that you write and practice.
Absolutely.
Because then your exam is going to become your practice, not an exam. It'll become an attempt, not an exam.
Exactly. So, it'll become an attempt, not an exam. So with respect to writing practice, as I told, because when we made that master prescription, which I call the prescription because I see the students turning up to me, and she turned up to me somewhere in May, June 24, and my God, she cried close to 3 hours. And at one point, I didn't wanted to console her. I said maybe she is feeling better crying, so let her continue. Right? So because I was bored of explaining that you needn't cry. So one wonderful incident that I would like to share, and then we would go to other papers. One thing she is told that stealing time, how you utilize those little bit of hour and a half that you are getting from here and there, ensuring that you are having a constant revision is very, very important. So that requires very meticulous and a clear approach. So now coming on to the May June part, I would like to share this a little bit of a story. As I told you, she couldn't get a rank in CA intermediate, which she probably deserved very much. So with her score of 359 and her approach, I was very clear that she's going to get a rank. So now this is somewhere in 2022 beginning, right? So 2022, it was somewhere around February, just the beginning of February, and we had our CA results out for final, and I still recollect maybe Mukund R, All India 48th rank, one of my students. He's got a wonderful rank. He did phenomenally well. So I always, as a gesture, gift something to my students. So it's generally a watch because I love watches. So I was there out purchasing a watch for him, and within next 10 to 15 days, or maybe less than that, maybe 4 5 days, I was expecting that the inter results would be out. And Himanshi had written it, and I was pretty sure she's getting a rank. So I purchased a watch for her as well, right? And I didn't inform because I wanted to give a pleasant surprise to her. And Mukund was handed over the watch. We had a wonderful interview. We had a wonderful time. And then I was waiting for the inter results. Inter results, I called Himanshi directly to the studio. And she turned up. We checked the results. She didn't got a rank. Now I had this very place I had kept the watch. And I was pretty sure she's going to take this watch. So though a lot of my people and team members asked as to why you're carrying this watch, whom you're going to give it, I said no, it's a secret, right? And I'll let you know when the time comes. So time passed by. It was somewhere in Feb 2022. Now she was into articleship, and I kept the watch. I had got other rankers. I've gifted them stuff, but I didn't told anyone about this particular watch that I had kept over here. And it was somewhere in June 24 when she turned up. She was crying all the while. And I said, "Beta, I trust you. You will do amazingly well." And she was little in an anxious state. So she was a little perturbed. So I said, "You just walk, uh, open the cupboard, check what is there." She says, "It's a watch. It's a lady's watch." I said, "Yes. I bought it for you on that day." So because we had a warranty card, the date was written on that. And she was like, "This is an old one." I said, "Yes, it's roughly 2.5 years before that I purchased this watch, and this was for you. And I'm pretty sure that I will give this watch to you post your final results." So the time has come, right? And she was pretty dumbfounded that I was trusting her so much, maybe a little bit of pressure on her. I said, "You be rest assured, you just go right and give me an opportunity to hand over this to you." So that is some tale of trust that I want to share with you people. So now, Himanshi, what was your reaction at that point in time when you figured it out that I had kept something separate for you? Though it didn't happen in inter, it would happen in final.
So initially, when you told me to go and check that watch, and when I realized that you had already purchased it before my intermediate results, I wouldn't use the word disappointed, but something on those lines in myself for not having scored a rank in inter. But then also that kind of gave me a push that I have to prove sir right in finals. That was one motivator that I had, and I was. Honestly, there was one sense also that, that I have someone that trusts so much in me that before even, me writing the exams, like in junior, I hadn't even written the exams, and you were sure that I'm going to get a rank. So I felt a sense of gratefulness to you and for having you trust in me so much.
So basically, she did 43 ranks better than that was required, right? So because even a 50th rank would have done the job, but the 7th is phenomenal. So this is for you. So I hand it over to her officially over the video, and because I was not in town, I told her that you can just put it down. So I was not in town, and I told Himanshi, "You can collect it from the office." She said, "No, sir. When we'll catch up, we are back in town, and then I'll take it from you." So we did it officially over here, right? So that being said, it feels very overwhelming at times that. The child is going to do exceptionally well, but there are circumstances which are beyond your control. You have to just keep faith, keep trust, keep pushing, and things do happen, right? That is one message I want to send across to every mentor over there, and every child over there, and every student, every aspirant. You have to keep going. Now, that was a little bit of a detour from what we were asking over here to Himanshi. You've done exceptionally well across all the subjects. The subject which you found the most difficult to deal with?
There's honestly no way. Again, keeping that in mind that I have no favorite subject, I gave importance to all the subjects. But I think my other subjects, I still, for example, financial reporting in AFM, was something that I was able to score well in inter as well. But with the taxation and auditing, I had not scored that well in intermediate. So my focus was that maybe I should change a little bit of my approach in terms of how I practice the subject, or how I make my notes, or how I deal with it. So I was a little scared of taxation and audit, but thankfully I was able to have the right approach, and yeah, I was able to perform well.
So nothing as such gave you sleepless nights or particularly trouble or any particular subject?
No, not really. Like, I'm not telling that all subjects are easy. I'm telling all subjects are equally difficult.
That's well said. Yes, everything is equally difficult. It's the approach at the end of the day which matters. Now, coming to your highest score, 91, I am thankful, right, that the student has done so phenomenally well in AFM. And how was your approach to AFM, and how you went about it?
So AFM was the second subject that I had taken for finals. It was, I mean, long back that I had studied AFM. The gap between me completing the portion versus me actually writing the exam was long. So with AFM, first and foremost thing was to pay proper attention in class, make proper notes. I had taken classes from you. So sir made it a point that, I mean, he was aware that we're going to refer to this after a long period of time. So everything was made clear in the class. We had conceptual clarity in terms of like formulae that sir taught us. We were not by hearting formulae. I knew the logic behind Black and Scholes, and I knew that, you know, you can have a cash flow, a set of cash flows where the IR can come at either at 5% or 50%. So all of that conceptual clarity was my first most important thing. In fact, for any subject, I'd say that when you're doing the subject, think that this is going to become your livelihood. Doesn't matter, maybe you don't want to specialize in taxation, but when you or in financial management, but when you're doing the subject, think of it like this is going to be your livelihood, and you have to know the subject thoroughly. So conceptual clarity was the first and the foremost thing. Second was practicing. We had close to, I think, more than 100 sums in Forex, a chapter like that, and this is excluding like conceptual understanding questions that we had.
108 questions to be precise.
Yeah. So practice was very essential. Don't just be like, I know, okay, this is going to be solved in this way, I have to use this rate or I have to use that rate. Solve it, get the answer. And especially and this happened because of paper practice with AFM also, that I used to like write the formula when don't be like, okay, I got the answer on the calculator and therefore I know the sum. No, ICI also looks at your presentation. At least that's what I've realized.
Big time. They look at the presentation.
So for example, if you're using CAPM method, write it like as per CAPM method, this is the formula, this is given, and I have found out this, and therefore I'm doing this. Explain it to the examiner like you would explain it to your friend, or how the faculty has explained it to you. Don't just
precisely
impose the answer on the examiner and be like, okay, this is the final rate or something like that. So that was there, practicing on, and then I think for every subject, including IBS, paper practice is a must. Like I think I'd say this a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely, no problems. We have to reiterate something which is going to help everyone. Every bit of our audience should be taking this home, that paper practice cannot be referred enough. You can just keep on repeating it and it's still correct, a statement. Right. Now, one thing that is on a personal note that I would like to ask is, because I've taught good 17 years and there are a lot of students who are like, oh, Bhavesh sir does too much of work. We had a big self-assessment module, roughly 350 questions in self-assessment, 450 questions in class. So, and too much of in-depth explanation where each formula comes from, what is the root cause. So did it either excite you or deter you from learning?
No, it excited me for sure. I think a lot of people were like, okay, there's so many hours, I don't really have the time to watch these many hours of class along with articleship and stuff like that. But I think that comes into your mind only when you start your preparation late. If you start it early, you will really enjoy the subject because you'll be able to get a conceptual clarity. And once you get the conceptual clarity, the satisfaction that you have for solving a sum, it is not matchable. So I think it was never a deterrent. I don't think for any student it should be a deterrent. I think something that should actually be your motivator to take a particular subject into understanding.
Because just passing the exam is a rage or these days. understanding concept is becoming more and more secondary. So I'm putting it on record for everyone to take home. The thing is that once you're not getting the concept behind it, even if you pass the exam, how do you implement it in real life scenarios? Because I remember this is a long back. I was taking a batch maybe some 5 years back or something, and there was one student who said he's an articleship and he's a brilliant fellow. So he asked his manager very casually as to, we are using BSM, Black Scholes Merton model. So what is the logic behind it? And the manager says, you just plug the numbers in this, you'll get an answer. So, and it was somewhere during the derivative session when I was doing this, and they say, oh sir, it struck. Now I'm able to get it how and what the valuation we were doing. So it has a lot of practical implications. So the idea is very simple. If you want to ride up the ladder, you have to prepare immensely well, not only for exams, beyond exams, and then keep on implementing and see different contours of the same, different dimensions of a thing, for you to at some point in time maybe manage that thousands of crores of fund, or manage that project, or have a say in something which is really massive. So I always believe that beyond exam is the approach. But so for each his own. People can have their own thought processes. This is mine and this is hers. So that being said, now what is your advice to people who are aspiring and going to write the next attempt or two, and how they should prepare themselves, how mentally they should be adept in order to get there, do that, and make it happen?
So I would just say, so there is no substitute to hard work. And in a professional exam like that of CA final, you have to work hard. Like there is no way you can't skip it or do anything of that sort. That will not work. Hard work is supposed to be there. In terms of anything that I would want to change, would be the stress levels.
I would agree. That I would agree, because I've seen her getting stressed out beyond repair. But finally, she had faith, we had faith, and she came out wonderfully well.
Yes, so yes, that's what something that Bhavesh sir and my parents would jointly agree and be like, okay, finally, stress. I'm not telling don't stress at all. I think stress can be a good motivator, but don't let that stress affect you in a negative way.
Let it be a functional stress.
Yeah. So, to share a little personal note, stress kind of affected my health also. So that should not happen with you. Take this very seriously. Don't think of it as an attempt. Think of it that this is the end. That's it. I'm writing once and be done with it. And practice so much that you get bored. Like that is a very wise trade-off to take. Rather than finding an interesting concept on the day of exam, I'd rather find and write a boring concept again for the nth number of time in the exam, because that gives me a surety that I actually know the concept.
I tell it to a lot of students, agar boring nahi hai to scoring bhi nahi hai. So if you're not getting bored in the process, means you have not mastered the process yet.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and just have faith in your self, work hard. I think that is something that would give you the results. In case you are stressed, you can always reach out to your parents. I'm sure you also have a mentor in your life. Reach out to them, talk it out. Don't compare yourself with what is happening in your other friends' preparation, because everyone has their own journey. Even if it's for a 6-month period, I think you do your own thing. Have trust in your timetable. If you're not able to prepare a timetable, ask your faculty, ask your mentor. They will help you out. So yeah. Just give it all your best.
With respect to the comparison part, I still recollect when she was crying, and then suddenly one point in time, sir, this fellow, that fellow has prepared that much. And I was like, come on, everyone has a different preparation method. You have a different preparation method. Our pace is different. Our understanding is different. For you, a good preparation may be understanding 100%. For someone else, a good preparation is just, I've flipped pages and I don't remember a thing. But yes, I've read it once. Yeah. So my preparation is done. So don't compare yourself. That is a very, very valid take-home point that she has told. So it's a phenomenal journey. What else I can say that I would just want her to keep doing better, albeit with a little less stress levels, right? So that is now your new learning that you have to actually bring in. She hasn't done her articleship at Big Four, so this is not a case where a person is not doing anything or dummy articleship or just Big Four articleship in Bangalore, tons of traveling, tons of hours of work. Right, we were just discussing since an hour. We were having a casual chat now, and you had very long days during articleship.
Yes, so
right?
articleship, I mean, being in Big Four, if there was a tight deadline, you would spend your probably all your waking hours working. So, but still, I told you we have to steal time.
So no, you have to maybe cut down a little bit of sleep here and there. Every waking hour, basically, she was just discussing. We worked on Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, public holidays, national holidays. Doesn't matter. So, despite all of the pressure, I would always say that once you have gone through this kind of pressure cooker situation and performed well, it prepares you in life big time. So a lot of people say that yes, I know it's at times a little undue and unfair to a lot of us that so much of pressure is being put on our head. But the thing is that rather than taking it as a pressure, let us take it as an opportunity, a challenge that we want to surmount. Right? If you win, great. If you do not win, you learn. I wouldn't use the word lose. Right, you learn in the process, right? So it at times can be very taxing, we know that, but you have to navigate your way out of it and somehow keep your stress levels under control and keep yourself out of that. And once with the passage of time, you will slowly start getting adapt to that, and you know how to maybe next time when you come across such kind of burdensome work, you know how to better handle it. That is one part that I would like to share with everyone. And what can I say, Manshi? It has been just phenomenal. And I'm happy that I had a student like you. And
I am still a student only for you.
So, luckily, I've in my journey of 17 good years, I've got wonderful people like you. So, cannot thank God enough for blessing me with such wonderful kids who have just gone all out and performed. One last thing before we close this is people say she was stressing a lot about hard work, and people lot of them nowadays talk about smart work. I'll tell you one thing, you'll know how to do smart work only once you have done a lot of hard work, right? So those people who are always looking for a shortcut in the name of smart work, you'll be smart only when you have worked hard enough, right? So there's no other way out. Hard work is the entrance, and that is how you need to go. See, if I as a teacher, I'll tell you, if I'm able to, I'll tell you, forex is something which takes a lot of time, effort, and you can still go wrong. I maintain superb level of accuracy, and we had tons of shortcut, the 7 theorems that I had created, which is not there in any book. So these were immense shortcuts. You can solve maybe an half an hour or hour long problem in a span of 5 to 8 minutes. That's it. I came to that juncture only once I worked really hard to figure it out what is the smart way. So that is my message to everyone. And Himaanshi, anything on a concluding note?
I just like to really end it with an expression of gratitude to my parents firstly, then to you, and then also my siblings, because they have seen me and they were always there for me, supporting me. And I don't know, I'm just excited for the next part of the journey, what it has to entail for me, what I get to learn. I just hope it has a lot of growth and learning on the way as I embark on my professional journey now.
Wishing you all the best. God bless. Wishing you all the best for your journey ahead. And you serve as a wonderful inspiration in these times. And the way you have come across, got there, made it, and showed it how it can be done. Phenomenal. So with this, we would love to conclude this session with Himaanshi, and God bless her with more and more wonderful achievements. And I'm more than proud. What can I say? I'm thankful, I'm proud, and wonderful. She ended it with a gratitude note. That is what we all need to learn, that universe does a lot of good things for us. Attitude is the gratitude is the right attitude, we would love to say. Fine. So thank you to our viewers, and wishing Himaanshi more and more success in life. Thank you.